So we have a fantastic set of speakers for you this morning. We have Mark Evans from Webreality. We have Neil Pinnell from Dunell's Premier Wines. And we have David Cullen from Roulette Clothing. I think in today's world, with the web and being connected, your competitors and your customers are closer to you than ever before, even though they're global. So we're going to be talking today about web presence. So hopefully you'll enjoy the speeches that we got. I'll hand over to Mark Evans from Webreality.
Morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Okay. Yep. Great. I just grab the pickup. Yeah. This one's a bit forward. So, morning, everyone. Firstly, might I just say, public speaking isn't something I do very often. If I start rambling on too quickly, someone shout and I'll try and slow down. Having said that, I've got a lot I want to get through in the time available. So, let me stand over here so I'm not in front of the screen. Who the heck is this guy? Why should I even bother listening to what he has to say? So, I founded exerciseequipment.co.uk in 2006 as a fitness business, unsurprisingly, selling fitness equipment into the UK market, and successfully went on to sell that business just as the recession hit and no one wanted to buy treadmills anymore. I've also a director, or am a director of Webreality, and I've been there since 2007. So, I did a chamber seminar a few years ago, and one prominent retailer got up and said, "The internet problem." And I was on the other side of the fence, and I was like, no, the internet opportunity. I'm guessing that as you're here, you feel the same as I do, that there is a massive opportunity. May I just say apologies? Obviously, I put this together in Keynote, and it's transferred it. That's as you decide. Hopefully there aren't too many issues like that. So, we've not got a lot of time this morning, so one of the things I've done throughout the presentation, I've put links. So I would take photos. What I'll do is I'll set the presentation up so you can view it later on, and Katia and Chamber will share that out for you, so that you can go through to the articles in which what I believe are the best articles that explain things in more detail. So, where do I start? For me, there's no point in talking about directing traffic and everything into your site unless you actually have measurability. You need to use a product such as Google Analytics. What can it tell me? Traffic volumes. How many people have come into your site. Your traffic sources, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Google, whatever it might happen to be. Your demographics. So, for instance, I'm getting 20 to 30-year-olds to my site, and those are converting at 3%. I'm getting 40 to 50-year-olds, so those are converting at 6%. Okay, well, that might lead you to need to carry out some more research and understand why. Whether the people are new or returning visitors, what device they're coming on. So whether it's desktop or mobile. Unsurprisingly, we're seeing mobile shoot up, and that's going to continue. What browser they're on? Why does that matter to me? Okay, well, they might be coming on Chrome version 25.4. You need to make sure that your website looks perfect on that version of that browser. What pages they're visiting. Identify where they're engaging, where they're leaving. Look for opportunities to improve those pages and try and reduce your exit rate, your bounce rates. The amount of time that they spend on the site. If you have a search facility, you can enable it so that you can identify what people are searching for. This is a great one. I had one recently. Really simple thing. Someone's looking for opening hours. It's not prominent on your homepage or in your header. Put your opening hours there because that's what people are looking for. Don't make them have to think. You've also got real-time data analysis. I really like this. So an example of when we use this is we might be sending out an email campaign, and I want to see how the traffic that's coming into the site is moving through the site at that particular point. So I'll use that real-time data. And probably, most importantly, you've got the ability to look at transactions, and more importantly, again, probably actually failed transactions. So where people fall out through that purchase process, or it doesn't necessarily just have to be purchases, sorry. It could be downloads of PDFs, it could be interactions with video. You want to identify where people are falling out of your process. So just a few quick setup top tips. It's free, so there's no excuses. It needs some time to configure it, but putting the code on the website is a small job, and beyond there it's configuration. Set up goals so you can identify your return on investment. As I mentioned, that might be transactions, that might be PDF downloads. Set up event tracking. This enables you to identify how people engage with buttons on your website, whether they maybe engage with video. For instance, at the moment you might have a video on your site, 50% of people might only be watching the first 25% of that video. If you don't have tracking in place, you don't know how your media is being engaged with. Filter out internal traffic sounds obvious, but you don't want the traffic from your business, your employees tracking across your data. So make sure you remove that. And send yourself weekly or monthly reports, because it's all too easy to let the weeks and months go by. So, moving on, second thing that I think is really important. Got a statement here, so more than half the searches on Google are on mobile devices. Okay, great. So what do we need to do? We need to make sure that your website is responsive, i.e. it works across mobile devices. Again, this is important. Measurability is really important. Making sure that the customer comes to your website and gets a great experience. There's no point in us pouring in lots of traffic and them having a bad experience. You need to get this right first. We'll come on to that in a bit more detail because it's an ever-evolving process. But top tips creating a mobile-friendly website. We're really quick going through these because I want to get to the exciting stuff. Be responsive. Don't create a separate mobile website. Think with your thumb. Think about how you use a mobile. Make sure it's really easy. Tell your story with fewer words. That goes for everything, not just mobile. Look at your website, condense it where you can. Less is often more. Never stop testing. Ensure you continue to test your site across multiple devices and platforms. So, an analogy I like to use is pouring water into the bucket, finding the holes, plugging those holes. It's a continual process. You need to just make sure that you're doing this all the time. If you don't, you're not going to see an increase in your return on investment. Oh, that's annoying, isn't it? Right. This is a really big number. It took me a while to get my head around it. That's 100 billion. That's the number of searches on Google each month. So, if you're not on Google, you can't prosper as much. You need to be there. It's as simple as that. So, just to explain a little bit about Google search listing, for those of you who aren't familiar. What we've got here, so these are what we refer to as paid listings. This is Google AdWords. A lot of you will know that it's pay-per-click advertising. And these are what we refer to as natural listings. Sorry, these have come up very small, but you get the idea. So, just going to talk about SEO quickly. So, search engine optimization is the process of obtaining traffic from free, organic, or natural. Everyone has different ways. I like to say organic. Search results on search engines such as Google. And there's some SEO tips we're just going to run through quickly here. These are things that can help you to ensure your website indexes within Google, gives you a better opportunity of your website coming higher up in the listings. So, use Google Analytics again. Keep coming back to that, but it's essential. Identify the key terms that convert highly. There's no point in optimizing your website. If you're starting from scratch, you need to use the best common practical approach and do some keyword research. But if your website's established and you haven't looked at your search engine optimization, do some keyword research, look at Google Analytics, identify what is converting. As I say, there's no point in optimizing your site for key terms that you think are relevant, but actually aren't the ones that deliver you return on investment. Add these key terms to your meta titles, meta descriptions, and where possible, your page header tags. These are your title tags. These are your meta descriptions. These are what Google brings through. If you don't put something in these descriptions, Google will put in what it feels is relevant. That's normally the first paragraph of copy on your site, and that might not be the copy you want in here. Actually, this is a great example. Roscoe car cover in less than 5 minutes. Really good, really powerful. So, keep your title tags to 60 characters or less where possible. And sorry guys, as I mentioned, I put these bit.ly links into all the relevant articles where you can get much more information on this than in the time we've got available. Optimize your images, so tag your images with relevant keywords. So if it's a picture of a car, label what the car is in the image. Add fresh content as often as you can. Search engines don't like static websites. Example I always give, if you've got two sites exactly the same, A and B, one has content updated weekly, one has content updated monthly, A is typically going to rank higher than B because it's got fresher content. Now, the most important thing in regards to SEO is links. So, yeah, links, and more links. What are links? Okay, so if we think about the World Wide Web, it's a web of websites. What you're looking for, and what Google uses as one of its primary identifiers as to how to rank your website, is the quality, that word's really important, quality and the volume of inbound links you have. So let me give you an example. If you write some absolutely amazing content, and this is the way that you go about trying to acquire links, other than just going to people and asking them to link to you. And for instance, the BBC pick up on that content, and they reference your content on their site and link to you, then you're going to get an amazing link in from the BBC website. Now that's the kind of quality of link that everyone dreams of. The reality is that's quite hard to come by, but that's what you need to look to achieve. There's a great beginner's guide to links that I put a link to there. I could have talked about this for 2 hours solid. So yeah, check that guide out. So the takeaway keyword at this point for me is relevancy. That's the one way that I would summarise Google. Keep everything you do relevant. Content, title tags, keywords, everything. Think about your target audience, keep it relevant. So, only pay for traffic that is interested in buying your services or products. That sounds great, doesn't it? And 15 or so years ago, that wasn't possible that I'm aware of. Well, it is now. So, can I have a show of hands? Who uses Google AdWords or Google pay-per-click advertising? Okay, so a few of you. I would hazard a bet that there's probably no one in this business, that'd be good, wouldn't it? In this room, sorry, that doesn't have a business that could benefit from Google AdWords. It's very rare that I meet someone where I don't think of instantly, unfortunately this is the way my sad brain works, of how they could benefit from utilising this mechanism. So, Google AdWords, just really quickly going back, sorry, too far, is these paid advertisements here. And the way in which it works is that you choose key terms, in the simplest way, you choose key terms that you want to bid upon, and you choose a bid price, and you're effectively in an auction against your competitors as to where you appear in the rankings. There are other factors involved, such as relevancy again. That's really important. So make sure that you have a clear goal. Determine, what am I actually looking to achieve by driving or looking for paid traffic? Is it, again, brochure downloads? Is it sales? Ensure your campaigns are hyper-targeted. Don't just create a campaign. Let me use the Jersey car insurance example. Don't just put Jersey car insurance, your other target's Guernsey, your other target's wherever, Southampton. Don't just put all of those in one campaign. Create specific campaigns, because you can geo-target, so i.e. you can just run your advertisements to people in Jersey or Guernsey or wherever it might happen to be. I'm using Jersey, Guernsey because we're here, but obviously this goes much further afield. And make sure that by doing this, make sure you have dedicated campaigns, you're going to have specific key terms that relate to specific ads. That's really important. The reason being is, again, coming back to that relevancy keyword that I used before, you're more likely to get what we call a higher click-through rate. You're more likely to get people clicking through your ads. You can set a daily budget. A lot of people get scared, but you can set a budget so you can't spend more than, let's say, £10,000 a day. Scary figure, but I've got clients that do it. You just need to set a budget and run with that. Link your AdWords account to your Google Analytics account. Gives you more transparency, exactly what's happening. Probably more importantly than your key terms are negative keywords. So, an example here, if you're selling cars, you might add hire. You don't want to be attracting someone that might be looking for BMW 330 hire car, whereas you're actually looking to sell a BMW 330. So you need to think about your negative keywords. You've got the ability to use mobile dedicated adverts. They give you the option to add your telephone number and a mobile specific call to action, i.e. call me today, call us now, whatever it might be. Monitor and tweak your campaigns continuously. Now I would say this because I own an agency or part of an agency. If you haven't got the time to do this properly, speak to someone. Outsource it maybe initially, you can always take it back in-house, but it is important that you research and that you continuously monitor and tweak. Very quickly, because I'm conscious of time, this little graphic that I like to use. I haven't covered social media today because that was covered in a previous talk, but you've got your various traffic, pay-per-click, SEO, social media, e-marketing. Bring that into your website, test and analyse, use Google Analytics, use split testing. Split testing is something I'd love to come back and talk to you guys about in more detail another time. Implement your changes, release, and just keep that cycle going. Websites are constantly evolving things. You never stop, you just got to keep moving it forward. So, forgive me because this is quite retail orientated and Jersey based, and again, for me I see the opportunity as much further afield, but 80% of consumers use search engines to find local business information. Over 50% of mobile searches result in a visit to the business. 18% of these searches result in purchases in store within 1 day. 76.7% of Jersey consumers said they would spend more locally with local retailers if they had an online presence. And 57.5% said they would spend 10% or more in excess of typical UK online prices to be able to buy and receive the same day. Final thing I'll leave you with is sort of mantra we've got in our office, and I like it in particular, not just in work but outside of work, is don't make me think. Just keep it really simple. Think about your customers and just, don't make them think. Make it easy for them to sign up, purchase, whatever it might be. Thank you very much.
Okay, good morning everybody, and thanks to Mark for going through all the technical bits about Google Analytics and things, because I know nothing about any of that. I'm used to standing up and talking to people about wine, so please excuse me if I look down at my notes quite a bit this morning. Talking about the internet and things isn't really my thing, but Dunell have an internet presence. By way of a quick introduction, I joined the family business back in October 1988 and took over as managing director from my father in the year 2000. We've been trading in Jersey since 1899 and as wine merchants at our premises at Bowmore since 1968. However, I've been working behind the scenes in the wine trade, bottling wines and spirits as a Saturday and summer job since I was about 10. So you could say I've got wine in my blood, wine in my veins. In the 28 years I've been with the company, I've seen many changes. From the use of telex machines to send important messages to the groundbreaking introduction of the fax machine, which I must add completely revolutionised our business. Then the introduction of our first Apple computer back in 1981 brought us firmly into the 20th century. Our main business back then was selling 2-litre bottles of cheap German and Italian wine to the local hotels and restaurants, and we supplied most of the small independent corner shops when there were some. We are also one of the leading suppliers of cigarettes and cigars in Jersey, something that may surprise you, especially if you try to buy a packet of cigarettes in one of our shops now, because we just don't sell them, for obvious reasons. Now you know why that one's there. Over the years, we've gradually changed our business model, and for those of you who knew us then and know us now, we've come a very long way. What I've just described is natural progression. Fashions have changed. We have had a few facelifts. We've had to do many product reviews, and we've had to move with the ever-exciting, changing wine world. However, one of the biggest changes to ours, and I'm sure many other businesses around the world, was the advent of the internet. The internet has only been commercially viable really since the mid-1990s, and we, like many others, thought it wouldn't last. However, in the early 2000s, a friend who had been having great success selling, how do I put this, a male enhancement drug, and I had a great picture for that, but I wasn't allowed to use it, and my wife said no. On the internet, said that I had to start getting my information on the internet for people to see, even if I didn't have an e-commerce site. As you can probably imagine, being a local traditional family business, priding ourselves on our service and our customer care, this was a mile away from where I wanted to be, where I thought I wanted to be. However, over a few glasses of wine, which is how most things normally happen in my line of business, we put together a very basic information website which we launched in 2004. Now, all was good. We had somewhere to tell the world what we're up to. No, it wasn't particularly pretty. We had a few flashing images, but it did the trick and people were using it. It was then in 2007 when an old school friend, Matthew, of Webreality, contacted me and suggested we should actually be selling our products online. I was sceptical. I could count on one hand the number of times I'd actually ordered something online without something going wrong. Issues ranging from lack of internet speed. Anyone from JT here? Websites crashing, car payments failing, we don't recognise Jersey as a delivery address, we know we won't take off the VAT, we all know what I'm talking about. However, there are many factors to think about. What is e-commerce? How much would it cost, initially and ongoing? How would we get people to use it? Would it take business away from our shop? We only had one shop in those days. Was it just a complete waste of time and money? Decisions that were made even harder by the fact that we were one of the very first Jersey retail companies to have an e-commerce site, and definitely the first wine retailer. We had to be brave. Matthew persisted, and Webreality have now been behind our site from the very beginning. However, I don't even think they realised, and Mark can probably vouch for this, sitting here, quite how complex our site was going to be. And to design a website like ours, everyone's taken into consideration the time and effort you have to put behind it. Our relationship with Webreality, and this is going to be a bit of a Webreality plug, I'm afraid, this morning, because, like I said, they've been behind us since 2007. It's been extremely important to the success of our website. Their dedicated team are responsive, proactive, and always there if there's a problem, even in the middle of the night, particularly in the early stages of going live. And I can remember times when my wife was lying next to me in bed, emailing Matthew, texting Matthew at midnight saying that the site's broken, fix it. And they did. In fact, they even offered my wife Jane, who I've just talked about, a job breaking websites. Because her testing was so fastidious, she'd break it all the time. But it was the best thing we ever did, because we've got a site that's up and running. And you are better at breaking your website than having a customer break your website. Because once they've broken it once, they just won't come back. So in 2008, after much work and testing, Dunells.com was launched. There were a few key things our site had to be. Firstly, a shop window. Our website is a reflection of us as a company. Gone are the days of formal suits and ties, and I used to wear a three-piece suit to work with a tie, replaced with a much more informal and friendly approach. Our website had to replicate this. Secondly, it had to be an easy and pleasant shopping experience. And thirdly, it had to be an information site. And then there's the issue of how do we get people to our site, and then even more importantly, to get them to buy, to stay on our site and actually purchase. To begin with, we decided the best way was an email marketing campaign using our already big database of email addresses. But there's a few things to consider. One of them being, how often should you send out emails? We all get huge amounts of emails every day. So we decided how many emails would we like to get from a company trying to sell their products, and we decided once a week was probably enough. Which day of the week do we pick? You can use stats as you go on to see which day of the week works best, how many clicks people are looking at the pages if they're going onto the website. But as we were selling wine, and as our busiest retail trading day of the week was a Saturday, we felt that Thursday was probably the best day, because people start thinking about the weekend. I know most of us think about the weekend on Monday, but we thought you start to think about planning your weekend, you think about Thursday. It gives you a chance to go onto our site, either look up what you want to come down to the shop and buy, or click and order for a delivery on the Friday or the Saturday. What time of the day? There's no point in sending it at 8:30 in the morning. Let everyone get their first coffee under their belts. Let them reply to their really important emails. If the person's at home with the children, let them get the children off to school, let them get back home, let them have their first coffee and their breakfast. And then maybe target them just before lunchtime. And if they read the subject line of your email and they like it, they may just look at it over their lunch break and then click onto your website. Other ways we use to draw people to our website, and these are really important now: social media. Facebook. This has been our main focus, apart from on social media, since 2008, followed by Twitter and now Instagram. Facebook has our largest fan base with over 3,200 likers. And I had to check that with my wife, that was actually a term because it didn't sound right to me. Followed by Twitter with over 2,400, and our most recent launch into Instagram with over 150. These social media channels are used to promote what we're up to, but also to share important news of what's going on in the whole world of wine. Unlike some people who link their Facebook, Twitter and Instagram postings that are all the same, we keep ours completely separate, because we target each audience differently, because each audience is from a different demographic. The most important thing to remember is keep it interesting, keep it short, keep it interesting. Social media is very different from direct emailing, as not only does it target local clients, but also seen by our suppliers, winemakers, producers and other wine-related media avenues. And the more you are seen to be doing social media, the more people talk about you, the more they share your post, and your profile increases. This has also really helped our standing in the world of wine in general, which in turn brings new high-profile suppliers and agencies to us, so a win-win situation. If I can elaborate a little bit, and it's bragging slightly but not, this year we entered the prestigious International Wine Challenge Retailer Awards, and we've been shortlisted in the top 3 of the small independent retailers across the whole of the UK, including Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Now, I say this not to brag, but to emphasise that without our web presence and without the continual use of social media to promote our business, we couldn't even have entered, let alone reached the shortlist. We're finding out next Thursday evening at a presentation in London if we win, but fingers crossed. It's really important to keep your social media and your website up to date, everything going like that, otherwise, because when you enter these sort of awards, that's the first thing they look at. Have they got a web presence? Do they use social media? Let's follow them. That's really important. It's great when you're sitting at home, excuse me. and a bit like the other two. Don't do a lot of public speaking. I think the last time I did a 10-minute talk was my news item at Vic Prep back in 40 years ago. June. It's great when you're sitting at home and you're seeing overseas orders coming in, especially around Christmas time, and you're seeing orders coming in from as far away as Australia and America. We've been really helped with getting our name out there across the world by Webreality, who have helped us climb the rank of Google pages aided by Google AdWords, which Mark talked about before. This ensures that we are capturing anyone who searched on the internet for anything related to wine in Jersey. Sales. Now, from our launch in 2008, we've seen between a 10 and 15% increase in turnover on our website. And as of 2015, these sales accounted for about 15% of our total retail income, in comparison to about 5% in 2009, which was our first full year of e-commerce. Now, 15% may not sound like very much in our retail income. However, we always knew this was going to be the case. You simply cannot replicate the customer service experience on a website that you can face-to-face. It's really hard to taste wine online. This is why we had to ensure that our website, whilst fully functioning as an e-commerce site, had to remain an important information site as well. People use it to see what new lines we have, what tastings or dinners we have coming up. They do their research on our site and then on many occasions visit one of our shops to do their shopping, sometimes even bringing screenshots with them of wines they want to buy. Now, once you have your e-commerce site set up, you simply can't rest on your laurels. I thought everything was fine. 6 years, nothing's going wrong, minimal intervention, minimal spend. What could need changing? But in the middle of 2014, we were invited back to Webreality by Matthew to be told that whilst we had a great site which functioned well and was selling, it really wasn't compatible on smartphones and iPads. By that I mean that when you accessed it on a mobile phone or an iPad, and at that time we didn't realise it, but 33% of our traffic coming to our site was being done this way. I think you mentioned it's now 50% roughly on average. It wasn't a great browsing and shopping experience. After a bit of tinkering and great support from Webreality once again, we relaunched our new look, mobile-friendly website in 2014, bringing us firmly up to date. At the same time, we introduced another popular service, Click and Collect. This enables people to be able to order online and collect from either of our 3 shops at their own convenience. This has proven very popular. The website continues to see growth in the number of new users, sessions, pages per session, and time spent on the site, especially as more and more products are added and more visitors and shoppers are using it. I don't know if maybe Mark wants to elaborate on what sessions and pages per session are later, but I won't. Today there are just over 1,900 products on our website available to purchase, but we still have another 400 or 500 to put on. We knew we wouldn't get them all on from day one, and what it actually does by adding them as we go along and keeping some of them back, it just adds more interest. When you add new wines to it, you can then send out an email and marketing campaign to people. New wines added, new interesting things on there. So I would say don't worry about getting all your products on there straight away. Gradually introduce them, do it slowly, get it right. New wines arrive, wines sell out, they change vintage, they change grape variety, they change in price, they change in quality, they win awards, they lose awards when the vintage changes and the tasting notes change. They have to be properly categorised by country, region, type, colour and grape variety, every single one. All this work has to be done on a daily basis. It's an ever-changing website that requires much love and attention. When we launched in 2008, we had one shop, the large one at Beaumont. Since then, and possibly contrary to a company with an e-commerce website, we've opened 2 more shops, one in St Helier in Hill Street and one in Gorey in December last year. The figures are extremely encouraging, and looking into the future it's vitally important that we continue to invest in our web as well as our physical presence and to adapt in both areas in order to maintain our market share and see further growth. So you can see retail is very important to us, and we use our website and all the social media tools around it that support it to drive business to the website while still maintaining, to our shops, while still maintaining the ease and convenience of shopping online for people who simply prefer to shop from home and simply don't have the time to come down. Our web presence is essential to the success of our business. Thank you for listening and look forward to welcoming one of our shops on the website.
Okay, good morning ladies and gentlemen. First time I've done this, so please bear with me if my head's stuck in my notes. So I'm here to explain what we have done at Roulette Clothing over the past 7 years to digitally engage with our customers. For those who don't know me and not familiar to Roulette, we're a little over 11 years old now, and previously there were 3 standalone stores. And 2 years ago we moved into the old Amy's building, which is at the prime address of number 1 Queen Street, trading over 3 floors. So, 7 years ago I decided that I wanted to sell products online as well as in store. At the time I had a ladies and a men's store. I used a local company to design and build a website. It wasn't Webreality, just to let you know. When we launched the site, we had a few sales, but nowhere near what I'd anticipated. And the best way to describe what was happening at this stage, for instance, was if you take the store in number 1 Queen Street and put it in a field in the middle of Trinity with a 50-foot hedge round it, no one could see it. Obviously at Queen Street, our footfall on an average day is 30,000. We get 30,000 views, people looking, walking, driving past the store on a daily basis. Well, our online store was completely different. So after spending a lot of money to build the online site, I then had to look at the options of marketing the site. This is when I started to get worried, because the figures that were involved had no real guarantee of return. It sounded like I needed a bottomless pit of finance to make it work. I'm confident and now have the experience in making a menswear retail store in Jersey work with the brands and portfolio that we've built over the years. I believe in the products and the brands that we sell, and that they have potential to sell online. Developing websites, marketing websites, creating an SEO campaign, pay-per-click campaigns, and the technical aspects of an online site are areas that I'm not confident in. And at that point I felt I was outpriced in the market. I didn't find the correct local partner to work on this project together. In the local market, I'm confident competing against the other menswear stores. We have built a strong portfolio. The store looks great and we pride ourselves on a high level of customer service. The problem online is that you're competing on a much bigger level. It's not competition in St Helier anymore, it's competition on a global stage. We sell 40 brands across 3 floors. Websites like Mr Porter sell over 300 international brands, and ASOS, for instance, have over 80,000 products on their site at any one time. These are 2 companies that sell the same brands as we do. Huge companies that receive private equity funding. Another menswear retailer that started the exact same season as Roulette, the End Clothing based in Newcastle, are set to turn over £18 million this year. The 2 founders were technically savvy and had a great insight into the online strategy to build a strong web retail presence. These companies that sell the same brands as Roulette but have better knowledge and know-how of the online market. The sales on Roulette clothing have never reached their full potential. We did, however, start to use eBay as a platform to sell out-of-season products. People have asked me in the past, what do we do with stock that's left over at the end of the season? Well, every season I budget that I have between 10 and 15% of my overall spend at cost price left, which we call dead stock. I don't sell in-season products on eBay because it's frowned upon within the industry. I could potentially lose brands if they found out. However, when products have been delivered for 6 months, I then use eBay to get rid of the dead stock. It allows me to appeal to a global market and reach customers outside of Jersey. There are a few products that we have had success online due to the demand in the product. The reason customers found us was because they were specifically searching for a unique product. It kind of goes back to the point Mark made about Google. And this particular product was a collaboration between Vivienne Westwood and Melissa. Now Melissa's a Brazilian brand owned, it's a plastic shoe. Now you can tell these look quite funky, but at that stage they were very, very in fashion and on trend. We sold Vivienne Westwood in the men's and ladies stores, but this shoe collection was the one that had all the buzz on social media. We were listed as a retailer on the Vivienne Westwood website, and like I said, everyone found our particular site because they were specifically searching Vivienne Westwood Melissa. This particular shoe was called the Lady Dragon shoe. We sold 95% of this collection online and only 5% in store. I can imagine not a lot you've seen this up and down King and Queen Street on a Saturday night. But places, major cities in the UK and abroad, this seemed to be a shoe that the girls wanted. I was lucky enough actually that a Jersey girl owns this distribution company, so we could replace our orders in season to keep up with demand of the product. We generally have to place stock orders 6 months in advance, and the majority of brands don't hold stock in season. That's a difficulty I've always found with selling menswear, especially sort of fashion products, is the way we order stock up front. The second successful brand that we sold on our site was Yeezy. Now, I've worked in retail since the age of 12. My mother Ellis used to take me up to Commercial Road in London, strapped to her at the age of 4. So in all my 28 years being involved in the industry, I've yet to witness such hype over a brand such as Yeezy. Now, is anyone in this room familiar with Yeezy? Right, so just to explain, Yeezy was a collaboration between Adidas and Kanye West. Kanye West is very fond of himself. He calls himself Yeezus. So yeah, this is kind of what we got involved with from day one. This collection. We were lucky enough to be one of the 8 stores in the UK to launch the clothing line and footwear for its Season 1 collection. The first drop we sold out online in 28 minutes. All of the clothing was sold online apart from one t-shirt that we sold in store. The main products customers were after was the Yeezy Boost 350. So it's this trainer here. That was taken from Tommy Mallet. Again, if you don't know, he's a reality TV star. We ended up selling him a pair, and our Instagram followers kind of doubled. I think that photo, we ended up getting near enough to sort of 10,000 likes on that one image. So when we started our social media campaign, in the lead up to launch, things went mad. We were getting emails every day up to the launch and months after the launch. That particular shoe retailed at £150. However, they resell now online for up to £1,000. So I know people can't get their head around that sort of figure, but the sneaker market now online is massive, and what you're getting is a new trend of resellers, people buying products, standing in queues and reselling them online for a profit. This was an image here of some of the other stores that sold the product and the queues outside waiting for the brand to launch. Our first customer, this guy here, stood at the queue at 3 PM on the Friday afternoon. Launch time was 10 AM Saturday. So these guys had camped out all night, had their pizzas and then got their shoes. We sold 80 pairs in store and 20 pairs online. Adidas have changed their distribution strategy after the launch of Season 1, and looks like we'll never have another delivery of Yeezy, unfortunately. Following the success of Yeezy, the exposure Roulette received through social media elevated our online status. We began talks with an online platform called Farfetch. It works as an online shopping mall, and boutiques can join Farfetch to sell their products through the site. They now have, since starting up in 2008, 400 of the best boutiques around the world, selling over 1,500 of the best brands that are carefully selected from the world's best buyers. Now their site isn't in a field in Trinity covered over trees. In fact, their site has 13 million visits with customers in over 180 countries. They now have more than 1,000 staff, many of who are available 24/7 via email, WhatsApp or Skype. They have 7 offices in London, Portugal, New York, LA, Tokyo, Sao Paulo and Shanghai, all accommodating to 8 versions of the online site in different languages. And now it's actually valued at $1 billion. We sell around 20 of our top brands on Farfetch. We first of all create or associate products online. Secondly, any created products are sent to Portugal to be photographed. Once they are back with us, we input the stock levels and the item is live under the Roulette boutique. With the amount of traffic going through the site and the brands that we sell are desirable, we have a steady flow of sales on a daily basis, which I'd be more than happy with. There are no upfront costs, however Farfetch take a commission on every sale made and we are paid on a monthly basis less commissions. The brand adjacencies on Farfetch help boost Roulette's online profile, and being grouped with all the best boutiques in the world have only had positive results. All in all, the relationship has been successful in helping digitally engage with new customers, something I thought was impossible without a huge budget. Thank you.
There's any feedback. So, anybody got any questions? Or was it so clear and there that there's no questions?
So boring.
There, one question.
What's the bestending.com, .je, .co.uk if you're based in Jersey?
What's the business? Typically I would say not .je personally, but then it depends upon the business.
Yeah, it's like a wholesaler.
Okay. So are you ever going to look to target outside of Jersey? Because okay, so not .je then, .com if it's available, and register.co.uk and probably the .je. Anyone else?
Good question. Jill's
Is collaboration one way for people who are wanting to kind of dip their toe into an online presence but are a bit scared, or as you say, they don't necessarily have the biggest budget? Do you think, is that something you'd advise?
Yeah, that's where I found more success. Like I said, originally when we'd looked at marketing the site and developing the site, it did seem like it was a never-ending budget that you needed. So if you can, whatever product you are selling, obviously we're menswear and there is a women's wear part to Farfetch as well, but it just seems that they've got all these member of staffs doing all these different areas that you need to be successful online. But we've got the product, so we kind of do our bit, supply the product, and they do the rest. So for me, yeah, I prefer selling on a platform, especially something that gets that many views, you know.
I was going to say, to add to that, I think there's lots of opportunity with these channels if you're a retailer to look at things like eBay and Amazon and utilise those first, build up some presence, understand how your customers work, build up how, understand how your fulfillment's going to work, get all your processes in place, and then potentially build a site after that. So I think it was about 5 years ago I did a talk, and the first thing I said was you don't need a website. That's a bit crazy, seeing as that's what I sell. But you don't, look at these other channels first, potentially, and then go from there.
I was just wondering, if you were to start an e-commerce website, what would be a good sort of platform and e-commerce package to use these days?
Sure. So there's lots of platforms. It depends upon what you think the scale of the business is likely to be. So I'm a particular fan of Shopify. If you're looking at a sort of platform you get onto very inexpensively. But what you don't get with something like that is the ultimate flexibility. So what I might typically say to someone again is prove the concept, maybe use something like a relatively inexpensive platform, and then look to move to a more custom platform. Still on open source, so for instance not Commerce or Magento. It really comes down to budget and your business plan, but you can start for £25 a month selling online.
You mentioned about keywords within the website. Is there a benefit of kind of hiding keywords within kind of banners and bits and pieces like that to push out Google searches? Can you do that?
No. Yeah, that's what we say. 2005, when I really started getting involved in this, there was what we call grey hat and black hat techniques that you could utilise. I'm not that we don't do that for clients, but for my own benefit, to improve our rankings. And those are the kind of things you do. You'd have white text on a white background with lots of keywords in there. Really mustn't do anything like that now. So everything you do has got to be relevant. Think about customer first. People get obsessed with SEO. Actually, just take a step back. Think about your customer, and when you do that, actually, your keywords, for instance, or most of the time it's common sense stuff. And always use best practice. Never never do anything underhand because you'd like to get penalised. You don't want to do that.
Do you think customers trust paid AdWords over organic?
Interesting question. Everyone always asks. I think some people don't realise there's a difference. You might have noticed, I don't have my slide, but they have recently changed the little ads, apart from a cream colour, so a green colour. Some might say, well, I would say that's because you're more likely to click on it, because green is go, good, click here. So for instance, when we're doing split testing, Butterfly will change a add to basket or checkout button to green, because it increases click-through. So to answer your question, I'm a big fan of paid advertising because you can turn it on and off instantly, you can measure, you can use it to analyse what you should be targeting with your SEO. And I think that the reality of it is that most people just click on the ads if they get a relevant result, which comes back to that relevancy keyword, and then go from there.
Questions?
We talked a lot about websites in relation to retail and selling to consumers, but presumably the principles apply equally well if you're business to business, if you're a business.
Massively. I could have spoken for ages, but obviously we've only got so much time today. So, it's engaging customers in different ways. So one of the things I was going to talk about a little bit is I'm a bit of a car fan. I don't have a Porsche, but if you go on Porsche.com, one of the best things they've got is the car configurator. Now, you're not going to buy a car online. Well, you might. It's very unlikely. A new car, that is, like a Porsche. But the reality is that you can go along and you can configure your car. You can then send that through to a dealer. At which point you've created an engagement. The dealer knows what you're interested in. It makes it easier for them to close the sale. So, whether you're another great example, a friend of mine runs a business called Nutmeg, which recently received £30 million worth of investment. He's giving people, you and I, the ability to invest our money and then manage it with a very, very small fee. So yeah, massive opportunity beyond retail. We probably talked about it a little bit just with regards to the guys that we've had today, but yeah. I haven't got enough time, sadly.
Do you guys do business to business stuff?
In what way?
Would you use your web presence to sell your products to other businesses, so hotels and that sort of stuff? Does that come into it?
No, not really. Not at all. No. Mainly retail.
Yeah, I'm retail as well at this stage.
Okay.
Very quickly you might get sommeliers going on our website looking at certain products and descriptions of them, but nothing more than that.
Okay. We've got time for maybe one or two more questions. Or none, if you want to do a bit of networking. Okay, please give a round of applause to our speakers.